Sweet children, remember with great love the Father who gives you happiness. There cannot be love without having remembrance. Right? There can't be love. You can't have the experience of love without having remembrance. But you'll have no experience of remembrance if there isn't love. And love is a relationship, and love is interaction, and love is communication, and love is the one that you love. You do things for the one you love. So if you're not doing any of that, you'll never have a deep experience of yoga. So then what are you doing, right? Your aim has to be there. And aim is reflected through effort. And in fact, love is what allows you to continuously increase the effort little by little, right? You have to increase effort. Otherwise, there's no progress, right? Question, why does the Father signal you children every day to practice having remembrance of him? And why does Baba tell you to remember him every day? Every single day. Every day, 7 days a week, he tells you that.
Time to go home now.
Because we forget.
That's all true. Because it's only by having remembrance that you souls will become pure. He's only concerned with making you pure because when you become pure, your suffering ends. So if you don't make the effort to want to become pure or to have yoga or to have remembrance, or there aren't deep feelings of love inside of your heart for Baba, then why would you ever do what he says? If you don't do what he says, what's your likelihood of success going to be? Only by having remembrance will you be able to claim your full inheritance from the Father. All the bondages of you souls will end, and you'll become free from sin and be liberated from punishment. If you don't absolve your sin on your own, then you have to go through punishment because he's got to show you the sins at the end. When you have love for somebody, you don't want them to have to do that for you, right? The more you stay in remembrance, the happier you'll become, and the closer you will experience the destination to be. You'll also never be tired. So tiredness is due to
Lack of love.
lack of remembrance due to lack of love. You will also never be tired, but will experience unlimited happiness. So remember, I've been telling you, so how's the happiness thing going? That's the measure of everything. And your happiness is a reflection of the effort you're putting in. Therefore, it is essential to practice having remembrance. Remembrance is the basis of all of that happiness, effort. Mhm. And love is the basis of that. And love comes from having recognized and value and your value for knowledge. Mhm. Temporarily, it seems like the knowledge is free, but it's not that it isn't free in terms of cost. It's free. There's no charge, but it's not free because the more you don't practice it or sincerely put effort to inculcating it, it becomes a burden. And the burden will take you out. It just has, you've seen this so many times, right? Song, do not forget the days of your childhood. Om Shanti. You sweetest spiritual children understood the meaning of a line of the song. You now belong to the unlimited Father whilst alive. You belong to the limited fathers for the whole cycle. Even in the golden age, you belong to the limited fathers. Now only you Brahmin children belong to the unlimited Father. You know that you are claiming your unlimited inheritance from the unlimited Father. If you leave the Father, leave knowledge, leave this life, you won't be able to claim your unlimited inheritance. Unlimited means unlimited inheritance is what?
So to you.
Golden Age and Silver Age. You get a very small inheritance, like one birth in Silver Age, not much of an inheritance. Although you explain to people, no one is happy with just a little. People want to have a lot of wealth, abundance, right? A lot of wealth. There cannot be happiness without wealth. And he's not only talking about physical wealth, but he's using that as a metaphor for body conscious people. Wealth is needed. Peace is also needed. And a body free from disease, health, is also needed. Otherwise, you can't be happy. Mhm. Only you children know that what there is in the world today and what there will be tomorrow. Destruction is standing just ahead in front of you. That these things are not in the intellect of anyone else. Even if you do understand that destruction is just ahead, they do not know what they have to do to prepare to deal with that. Or they don't want to know because they don't want to think about it. You children understand that war can start at any moment. If there is just a spark somewhere, everything will implode. Even if they do understand that destruction is just ahead, Baba says, if there's just a spark somewhere, it doesn't take much, everything will explode. Right now, it is so tense in the Middle East. It would just take a spark, somebody doing something really crazy, stupid, violent, and that would ignite a very big war. You children know that the old world is about to end and that you must therefore now claim your inheritance from the Father as quickly as possible. Quickly as possible means your fullest effort you're capable of. If you continue to remember the Father constantly, you can remain very cheerful. So remembrance allows you to claim an inheritance, but remembrance keeps you peaceful and cheerful also. As soon as you become body conscious, your happiness disappears. Have you not noticed that in body consciousness, your happiness disappears? Hands up if you've seen that, made that observation. Your happiness goes away when you're body conscious. So it would make sense to make a lot more effort to be soul conscious. When you become soul conscious, you are able to remember the Father. When you become body conscious, you forget the Father, and thereby, because of that loss of power and self-respect, he says, thereby you you forget the Father and you take sorrow. Taking is a choice. You take sorrow because you don't have the strength to refuse sorrow because you don't have the power of remembrance that makes your mind and intellect very strong. It allows you not to be weakened by your old sanskaras. The more you remember the Father, the more happiness you will receive from the unlimited Father. You have come here to become like Lakshmi and Narayan. There's a lot of difference between the maids and servants of the king and queen and those of their subjects. The effort, obviously the kings made a lot more effort than the subjects. The efforts made now become fixed for cycle after cycle. At the end, everyone will have visions of how much effort each of you has made. Even now, the Father says, continue to look at your stage. Yeah, your stage of your consciousness, of your awareness. How much do I remember the sweetest Father of all from whom we receive our inheritance of heaven? Everything for you depends on your remembrance. The more you remember him, the greater your happiness will be. You will understand that you have now come closer. Some become tired and wonder how much further the destination still is. And then they haven't even made a lot of effort yet. If they reached their destination, their efforts would have been worthwhile. No one in the world knows who God is. They say, oh God, and they then say that God is in the pebbles and stones, omnipresent. You children understand that you now belong to the Father. You have to follow the directions of the Father. You have to follow them. God's come. He's not just anybody. He's benevolent, and he's telling you to do this for your own good. You may be living abroad, but you have to remember the Father was living there. You have received Srimat, elevated instructions. A soul cannot become Sato Pradhan from Tamo Pradhan without remembering the Father. You say, Baba, I will claim my full inheritance from you. Just as our Baba has claimed the inheritance, so I will also make effort, just as Brahma Baba has claimed his inheritance, so I will also make effort and definitely claim his throne. Mama and Baba become the king and queen, so we also have to become that. The examination is the same for everyone. The examination is of 1 second, and it's at the end when everything's falling apart on the planet. Can you remember God and be, stable in soul consciousness? This is known as the power of easy Raj Yoga. You understand that you receive a lot of power through Raj Yoga. You can, doesn't mean you all are making enough effort to get that kind of power, but you can. If you perform any sinful actions, you will experience a lot of punishment. And then your status, your attainment, your accumulated purity, all that would be destroyed. It is in remembrance that Maya creates obstacles. You know that you are going to the pure world. Those who become Brahmins will be instruments for this. You cannot claim your inheritance from the Father without first becoming a Brahmin. So you're not even yet really Brahmins yet, right? Some of you, but and then some of you who consider yourselves Brahmins aren't really following all the things that Baba says. So again, are you a Brahmin? Sometimes Baba says in the Murli. The Father creates children in order to give them their inheritance. We belong to Shiv Baba anyway. He makes the world new in order to give you children the inheritance. It's only bodily beings who are given an inheritance. Souls reside up above. They don't need an inheritance. There's no question. So the inheritance is for when you come back down from the soul world. So if you don't make effort, you don't have much in your bank account. You don't have much to spend. You got to come later in the cycle. You're now making effort and you will receive your reward. The world does not know about any of this. The time is now coming close. They keep threatening that so-and-so does such a thing. This country does that. This is all that goes on when it's a clash of egos, right? If so-and-so does such a thing, they will blow them up. They're making preparations for that. The bombs, etc., are not just for keeping. Many preparations are being made. Did Pakistan and Hindustan exist at the time of the British government? No, it was just India. They have written about the war with the Yadavas in the Mahabharata war story. There was no war between Pandavas and Kauravas. The Yadavas are truly battling now. The Yadavas are the scientists. The bombs are also all ready. The Father has now ordered us, remember me. Otherwise, you'll have to cry a lot at the end. When someone fails an examination, he goes and drowns himself in anger. Some people commit suicide. The pressure, right? Of not disappointing your parents, especially South Asian parents. They save so much, put so much money away for you to become a doctor. The Father's duty is to inspire you to make effort. He says, children, since you forget to remember me whilst doing your work, or you don't have time, then just sit down. Yeah? Sit in remembrance and remember the Father. You have to decide that. And if you keep going in Raj Yoga and you don't make any time for Baba, you're not going to last. You know that. When you meet one another, try to remember Baba. By sitting down in remembrance with others, you'll be able to receive help and remember him well. Whether you come here or not, the main thing is to remember the Father. When someone goes abroad, he would no longer be able to come here. He just moved away. The wife has to go because the husband takes a job or goes to start business somewhere. When you are there, just simply remember one thing, that you will become totally pure from totally impure by having remembrance of Baba. The Father says, simply remember one thing.
Remember me.
Remember the Father. How many times he's already said this? The Father says, Man above. Consider yourself a soul and remember me. Are you getting the message of the Murli? He's telling you all you're not having enough remembrance. Remember me, and you'll become a master of the world. The main thing is remembrance. There's no question of going anywhere. Stay at home and simply just continue to remember the Father. If you're a housewife and you have nothing else you have to do, if you don't become pure, you won't be able to remember the Father. Not everyone will come and sit in class here and study. Just take the mantra and you can go anywhere abroad. The Father has shown you the way to become Sato Pradhan. When you go to a center, you are, of course, able to hear new points from the Murli. If you're unable to go for any reason, or if there is rain or a curfew because of war or civil unrest, then you cannot go outside. So then what will you do? What will you do then? Can't go to the center, can't hear Murli. The Father says it doesn't matter. Wherever you stay, simply
Remember Baba.
stay in remembrance. Remember him whilst moving around. Tell others to remember the Father, and their sins will be absolved, and then they will also become deities. There are just two expressions. The Father says, don't forget this child. Today you are laughing, whereas tomorrow, if you forget the Father,
You'll cry.
there will be tears. He's warning you. You will cry at the time you wasted the opportunity you wasted. You have to claim your full inheritance from the Father. There are many who say they will definitely go to heaven and that whatever is in their fortune will be fine. Baba says that is not called making effort. That's called settling for less. That's not making effort. And of course, if you settle for less, it's not because you have elevated self-awareness or self-respect. You settle for less because you don't have self-respect. People make effort to claim an elevated status. Now that you're receiving a high status from the Father, why should you become careless, lazy, careless, all sickly? Those who don't study at school have to bow down in front of those who have studied. And because the top students, they get the top jobs, and then somebody else goes and gets a job, maybe in their company, and they end up working for them. If you don't remember the Father fully, you become maids and servants of the subjects. That's even lower than just subjects. You should not become happy just with that, the father explains. Sweet children, you come here personally and go back refreshed. So you're not supposed to have body conscious ambition, but you do have to have an elevated aim. They're not quite the same. One is selfish and the other is self-respect, based in your self-respect. Some are in bondage, and so it doesn't matter if they stay at home and continue to remember the father. They're in bondage, like their husband's not in knowledge, doesn't want them to participate. Everything's explained to you so easily. Death is just ahead. War will start suddenly. They continue to threaten one another. If you do even the slightest wrong thing, we will do the same. You know, that's how they talk to each other. India, Pakistan does this all the time. They warn one another in advance. They have a lot of pride in their bombs that they have. The father says children are not yet clever with the power of yoga. It shouldn't be that the war begins before you are ready. You need to have your stage ready. However, according to the drama, it will not happen like that. You children have not yet claimed your full inheritance, and this is why you have the faith that even if a war starts, it will soon end, because the kingdom has not yet been established, so it's not time for the final war. It requires time. He continues, Shit Baba continues to inspire you to make effort because you don't know when anything could happen. Buses, airplanes, and trains crash. Death nowadays takes place so easily. Anything can happen. We see it all the time. Every day in the news, something new happens. Natural calamities. This is why you have to remember the Father with a lot of love. Baba, we have no one apart from you. Simply continue to remember the Father. He explains to you so easily, just as you explain to small children. He doesn't give you any other difficulty. Difficulty, he tells you, remember me. That's the difficulty. Of course, there's a lot involved in remembering him accurately. Simply remember me. You have been burnt to death by sitting on
Pyre of
the
love.
pyre of lust. Lust is killing you. It's just torturing the soul, emptying the soul. Therefore, sit on the pyre of knowledge and become pure. When people ask you what your aim is, tell them that the Father of everyone says,
Man above.
constantly remember me alone and your sins will be absolved. You're not getting the message. He has to keep telling you. and then you'll become Sattva Pradhan from Tamo Pradhan. The bestower of salvation for all is only the one Father. Yeah, your hobby should be to remember, hobbies, these things you love doing, and you squeeze them in at every moment possible because they're so much fun for you. Your hobby should be remembrance. The bestower of salvation for all is the one Father. The Father says, now simply remember me, and the rest will be removed. You can just give them this message. When you stay in remembrance, you will be able to make others also remember Baba. You will then be interested in telling others about knowledge and to remember Baba. So you teach them how to do all this. Otherwise, it won't come from your heart. The Father says, wherever you may be, simply remember me, capital M, as much as possible. So as much as possible means at the top of your list, you want to do that. You have other things you have to do. Of course, Baba understands that. But are you doing that? Are you putting that level of effort in? Even if there's a little difficulty with your food and drink, because you could be in the army, be in a work camp like I was, you could be in prison, you can't control your food, things like that. You will have to live at home. So stay at home and remember the Father. Whoever you meet, tell them the teachings, death is standing just ahead. The Father says, all of you become Dhamma and impure. So now remember me and become pure. It is souls who have become impure. In the Golden Age, souls are pure. Souls will become pure by having remembrance of the Father. There is no other way. There's no other option, so you got to do it. Continue to give this message to everyone, and many will benefit. Baba doesn't give you any other difficulty. It's now the most auspicious month of charity, Purushottam month. I don't know what the original date of this was. It's a memorial of the confluence age when you just dedicate your life to doing elevated karma. At the beginning of Baba says, go and explain who the most elevated beings are. Lakshmi Narayan, the deities. At the beginning of the Golden Age, Lakshmi and Narayan were the most elevated. It was the Father who made them so elevated, which means that he had to have established heaven. Only the purifier Father purifies all the souls. It is the Father who makes you into the most elevated of all beings. Those who are worthy of worship have become worshippers. We became worshippers in the kingdom of Ravan, and we were worthy of worship in the kingdom of Ram. It is now the end of the kingdom of Ravan. From being worshippers, we are becoming worthy of worship once again. Show others a way to remember the Father. Even old mothers should do this service. Give the Father's introduction to your friends and relatives. Tell them, Shiv Baba says, constantly remember me alone, and you will become masters of heaven. Incorporeal Shiv Baba is Baba, the bestower of salvation for all. He tells all souls, remember me, and you'll become Satopradhan. It's easy to explain this. Even the old mothers can do this service. This is the main thing. Whenever you go to weddings, etc., whisper all of this in their ears. The God of the Gita says, remember me. Everyone will like this point. There is no need to say a great deal. Simply give the Father's message. He says, remember me. Acha. Just think that God is inspiring you. You see or hear it said in your dreams. The Father says, remember me, and you will become Satopradhan. You should simply have this one concern, and your boat will then go across. We now belong to the unlimited Father in a practical way, and we are claiming our inheritance from him for 21 births. Therefore, there should be that happiness. Don't just hear that point. It's like you're going to heaven. Nobody else is really going, so it should make you happy. It is when you forget the Father that there is difficulty experienced. The Father tells you so easily, just remember me. Everyone will then understand that you have found the right path. No one else can show this path to others. The time will come when you won't be able to leave your home. Things will get so bad outside, he's saying. You will shed your bodies whilst remembering the Father. That's how you're supposed to. If you don't have a stable stage of yoga, you're just going to panic watching all the things collapse and all your neighbors panicking and all your family panicking. Those who remember Shiv Baba in their final moments will then go into the clan of Narayan. They will go into the dynasty of Lakshmi Narayan. They will claim a royal status again and again. Just remember the Father with.
Lot of love.
So how can you love someone without remembering him? So if you love someone, you remember them. If you never talk to them, then it's not love. You won't remember them. You remember someone who gives you happiness. You don't love someone who causes you sorrow. The Father says, I make you into the masters of heaven. Therefore,
Remember me.
no.
Big effort.
Have so much love.
Love me. All the other things you said would happen if you just loved Baba. You'd do what he wanted you to do. So this is when you're recording the sanskar of your love for God. It's now in confluences when he comes, whatever degree. So if confluence age ends and you never really did, you're not going to have much feeling and sanskar of loving God through the rest of the cycle. How could you? And because of that, you didn't become fully pure. And because of that, you have to come late in Silver Age. You should follow the Father's directions. Really good advice. Acha? To you, sweetest beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning. From the Mother, Father, Baptata, the spiritual Father says namaste to you, spiritual children, and
The
The
spiritual
spiritual children say namaste to the spiritual father.
essence for Dharma. Number 1, never be careless about this study. Claim your full inheritance before the war begins. 2, follow Srimat and remember the Father with a great deal of love. Blessing. May you be a completely pure and true Brahman and stop any waste in your thoughts, attitude, and awareness. Check your thoughts, attitude, and awareness. Let it not be that you did something wrong, you repented, felt bad about it, then you asked for forgiveness, and you became free. That's not, you don't get free. There's no forgiveness in that. No matter how much someone asks, pleads, begs for forgiveness, the trace of any sin or wasteful action cannot be erased. You've heard this point before. Because if the cycle repeats identically, the sanskars and the things that you have inside that make you make every single decision in your life, they're not going to change. So therefore, the reason he gives you this knowledge when you don't have it any other time is preventative. You got to do what he says and stop performing sin, wrong action, body conscious actions. Do you know the degree of effort it takes just to become soul conscious? The register would not be clean and spotless. Do not just use this custom and system, but have this awareness. I am a completely pure soul. Impurity cannot touch me in any thoughts, attitude, or awareness. For this, be cautious at every step. You have to be aware at every step in order to be cautious at every step. Slogan, use the Father's company and you will never become disheartened. Om Shanti. Avyat signal, finish the seed of impurity and become completely clean. To put the significance of purity into your practical life means to be victorious over all the 5 vices, even in your thoughts. Wasteful thoughts create anger. Therefore, if there is any lustful or wasteful vision towards any soul, BK or not BK, that is not considered to be purity. So surrender those wasteful thoughts out of love. That's why you need to figure out. You talked the whole thing about love and remembrance today. You got to love Baba before you'll ever spend time to remember him. So until you get your love very deep, you can't remove the effect of these wasteful and vicious body conscious vices from your awareness. Om Shanti.